I am at week 4 after my microdiscectomy surgery on my L4, L5 vertebrae. I meant to do more videos kind of in between my day after surgery and so far kind of down the line. That's just crazy finding 15-20 minutes to get these things done. But I wanted to kind of go week by week between after my first day and that first week and then all the way up into this week, because it really has been a lot more of a journey than I thought it would be. It's been a surprisingly it's been full of ups and downs, much more so than I anticipated. I kind of expected for it to be over to a certain extent in terms of the static pain after that first day, and then that recovery would be a straightforward path of dealing with the back pain and dealing with the muscle recovery and kind of letting those things heal. And it's really been a lot more than that, and it's probably a little bit of naivete on my part to expect it to be easier, but I think that the learning process has been good kind of in and of itself to teach me to be patient and to take care of my back right now and understand that the surgery was a big deal. Any back surgery is a big deal, and that it's not really setbacks, it's just kind of taking it day by day and getting better. That being said, it's definitely not something that I regret to this point. I'm not in a place where I feel like I made the wrong decision. It's just I was not mentally prepared after that first day, just for quite the journey that I had ahead of me over the next kind of 4 weeks that I'm up till right now. To kind of take you back a little bit, my first day after surgery, I felt great. I think a lot of that was the anesthesia. I came out of my surgery with static pain, but that went away kind of after a couple hours that first day. The next couple of days afterwards, my biggest issue was just kind of pain in the morning from waking up. But I did a very consistent regimen of taking my painkillers. My doctor had me on Norco, and I was on 10-325, and I took one of those every 6 to 8 hours. I was kind of did it like clockwork. I tried to keep ahead of the pain. I didn't want it to become an issue, and so that was kind of the way I was coached by my doctor, and so I kind of stuck to it. So my first week after surgery was kind of what you'd expect. Doctors told me to take it easy. I did that no problem. I went back to work on the fifth or sixth day. So I had my my surgery on a Friday, and then I went back to work that next Thursday. So just about under a week. And I work at a job where I sit a lot, and so for me, I transitioned to a standing desk and made it a little bit of a combination where I would sit for 30 minutes, get up, walk around, stand for a while, kind of do what felt right. And then it wasn't comfortable. I would say that I definitely kind of rushed that a little bit, kind of went a little macho on that one and thought I need to get back to work and I can do it. That first meeting that I sat in that went a little bit long, I had a hour-long meeting that I was sitting in an uncomfortable chair. I realized that I had made a kind of a big mistake by sticking around and trying to stay seated. That pain kind of crept up on me. I will say this, if your doctor, and I would ask for it if they don't, if they give you a back brace or a corset or something like that, wear it. That I was skeptical about the equipment when they first told me about it, and I even asked if it was something that I was going to have to pay for or if insurance would cover, and kind of thought it's just not something I want to deal with. But that brace saved me that first kind of week at work, because the tighter that brace was and the more it helped my back, the longer I was able to hold a position. It reminded me about my posture. It kept that correct. Big deal. So definitely recommend the brace if you have it. So the first week was just kind of as you expect, a lot of incision care, making sure I didn't mess with that. The painkillers eventually kind of got to me after that first week, so I started to really feel the effects of that opioid-induced constipation and another aspect of the post-surgery that I did not anticipate, and that actually kind of stuck on me kind of going into that week 2 more than I anticipated. And so I tried to kind of back off my painkillers to see if I could get my my plumbing working again, and that included just taking a large amount of, my doctor had me on Doculase, and I was taking Miralax, trying everything I could to get everything back and rolling again, but it just left me in just a feeling of discomfort. kind of a lot of the time in my stomach, and I kind of had a little bit of a nausea feeling there, so that wasn't really fun. So my first week was kind of positive and kind of just a recovery week. My second week, I really learned the concept of good days and bad days. And I really can't stress this enough, but you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. It's just so true. And bad days can happen after maybe pushing it too hard on one of your good days and you pay for it afterwards, or it's just your body is adjusting and your nerves are doing things they need to do to heal. Again, I saw my doctor on day 14 feeling great. On day 15 and 16 it kind of went downhill, so I guess week 2.5 or so it started to go downhill, and I had a few days at work where it was just, I felt like my pain was back to where it was before, but it was different. And kind of my story around my pain, at least, has been one of it started back in May and it was one thing, and then by June it was another. By July the pain was more severe and I had to stop working out. By September I was desperate to get an answer, found out that it was herniated disc, and then the pain just kind of kept changing all the way up until I got taken off of my ibuprofen right before surgery, and that led up to kind of the worst 10 days, you know, of this whole ordeal, was that 10 days before surgery. And so there wasn't really a period of time where I was managing a consistent pain. It was more of the pain was getting worse or changing or different, or a new aspect of pain like muscle spasms would kind of crop up out of nowhere. And so I quickly forgot about the pain that I was feeling before the new pain kind of took over, and that became my new priority, was fixing the new pain. And so one of the things that I would recommend if you're seeing this before your surgery, and something I didn't do that I wish I really had done, is write down your pain and how it is presenting itself to you before you have surgery. Write down how it feels to get in the car and get out of a car. Write down how it feels to stand for too long, and write down how it feels to walk or try to bend over. And be specific about the pain that you're feeling and that nerve pain and how that nerve pain presents itself. Because after surgery, you're gonna have pain, and it's gonna be a lot less nerve pain and probably a lot more muscular pain. But I'm in a position now where I'm having a hard time remembering my nerve pain before my surgery and comparing it to my muscle pain right now. Kind of at that 15 and 16 day mark, the muscle pain became my biggest concern, and it would affect kind of my whole leg like the nerve pain used to do. But it clearly wasn't my nerve pain, because I could move my leg forward and walk with less of a limp than I could before the surgery. The pain was more manageable. Painkillers worked. It could take the pain away. When you have that nerve pain, you know that painkillers, unless you take enough of them to kind of leave you not functioning, they don't really do a great job of taking the pain away. So I had good days and bad days, kind of week 2.5 to week 3.5, and that's where it's just good to be encouraging and think that it doesn't mean you had a setback. It doesn't mean that you're reherniated. It doesn't mean that things aren't going like they should. It just means to be aware that on the good days, walk, and on the good days, take advantage of that time, and on the bad days, just be aware that you got to kind of push through, and that it is a different pain. It's not your nerve necessarily suffering from another disc leaning on them. It's just them. That's what I tell myself. It's kind of them recovering and repairing. So week 2, good and bad. I kind of made my way through it. I weaned myself kind of down on the painkillers there, and then kind of went into week 3, just kind of ready for what's next. So by that 3rd week leading into the 4th week here, I've been consistently getting better, which has been a really big encouragement to me. So the pain now is clearly surgery related. I'll have pain in the morning when I wake up, and it will be either on my left side or my right side, depending on where I slept. I still cannot sleep on my stomach. I cannot lean backwards at all. That is just an extreme amount of pain. So the thing that made me feel good when I had sciatica was doing that kind of Sphinx pose, or leaning way far back, or sleeping on my stomach to kind of create that bend in my back. Now that move just doesn't work. So I'm completely off my stomach in any position whatsoever. And so I sleep on my side, on my back, and that's about it. And so if I sleep on my back after a while, I just naturally prefer sleeping on my side. And so in the middle of the night, I'll roll over, and then by the morning, either my right leg or my left leg will kind of have this pain I gotta walk out. So that kind of tells me that it's different than my nerve pain. It's my muscles kind of doing what they do to kind of either reactivate, or that nerve is kind of coming back online. So that has allowed me to really back off painkillers almost completely. Haven't had a pain pill in about 5 days now, and so that's allowing me to really kind of get beyond this other issue of being constipated, or this other issue of not feeling very well. I honestly believe that in the short time that I've been on painkillers, which I was initially prescribed those in September, and so I've been on them for just for nights or some kind of semi-regular dosage for about a little less than 2 months now. I believe that I still had to wean myself off, and there was still a little bit of a I don't know if it was a dependency or my body was kind of adjusting to not having them, because there was definitely a few days there where I felt bad. Like I felt sick and my stomach felt nauseated, and it just that wasn't very much fun. So getting past that was good. That was big. But now here I am today is a Tuesday. I'm actually sitting in the parking lot of my hospital waiting for my first physical therapy session. I finally talked to my doctor, and I kind of asked him to let me start. I needed something that I could work towards that wasn't just walking. The walking is good, and it's big, and it's great to walk, but I'm ready to kind of go to the next step, whether that be stretches or core strengthening or whatever it is that they want to do. I'm kind of ready to start that, to get this process moving to the next level. But starting kind of that week 4 area, it's been a lot of just leg pain in the morning, or I have a little bit of sciatica that I get when I sit for too long. If it's sit for too long in a car, like I have been right now, the pain kind of sits in my calf or my ankle, and it's not bad. It's not terrible, but it's definitely there, and it's definitely remnants of an injured nerve that I've had for the last few months. And so I'm kind of working my way through that. I can now walk pretty much any distance that I want to with reasonably, I think I've walked about 1.5 miles, 2 miles all at once, and not really had to take a break. That it felt pretty good. So that's great. I can go on and off for 4 to 5 miles a day, just kind of moving around, and I don't have any kind of punishing pain the next day for doing that. But now it's just kind of a little bit of lingering leftover pain that I'm hoping to kind of work my way out. My goal is by January 1st of this year to be able to get back into a gym and start some small workouts, and just be able to kind of get back to a normal kind of routine. I can already tell, even though the pain isn't there, my back is very weak. Not being able to lean back is still kind of concerning, and I don't want to do something that put that in jeopardy. I'm still on a strict weight limit, so I don't lift over 15-20 pounds, and then if I do lift anything, I'm very aware of the position my back is in, and making sure that I'm protecting that whenever I can. I've thankfully not had any scares or done anything that I feel like would put my back in jeopardy, so that's been a success. It's just now a matter of I'm ready to move forward. I want to start getting stronger again. I want to start getting back to where I was, and January 1 would put me right around that 12 or 13 week mark post-surgery. So if I can get it back around that time, that'll be a win. And so I've got another 8 weeks or so to keep working on getting better. So I'll try to update more as I can, but kind of my biggest takeaway here a month out is it's been a process. It's been a journey. There have definitely been good days. There have definitely been bad days. I've underestimated the surgery and the recovery and how it's going to feel, But now that I've been through what I think is going to probably be the worst part of it, and I'm on the other side, is no matter where you are, if you're in that 1 month window, just be where you're at and then get through it, or enjoy the good days. But don't let your mind get depressed that something is necessarily wrong. Your body's probably just healing and making its way through, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So that to me was I was able to get there mentally. That was a big win, and it made for better days. I forgot to mention that I had a couple of days where I lost my ability to sleep for longer than about 4 hours, right in the middle of that week 2 period, and that's where things mentally started to get really tough for me. As soon as I lose my ability to sleep, I quickly lose my mental fortitude. So if I'm ever captured in war, that is the way to break me down, is deny me my sleep. And so now that I got that back, and now that is not an issue, I really only had that issue for about 3 nights, and I took my muscle relaxer when I could to help. I had to get up at 3 in the morning and walk it around and walk it out, and I could finally go back to sleep about an hour and a half or 2 hours later for another hour or 2. But again, it was short-lived. I moved on. It's in the past, and now I'm sleeping great. I'm not having to take anything to go to sleep. I fall asleep no problem, and then I usually sleep right through until 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and I'm ready to go. So getting my sleep back was awesome. I feel great during the day. Moving, I'm finally able to move without much of a limp after a while. It's just, I have to watch out how long I sit in certain positions. And then if I sit for too long, just being aware that I gotta move to kind of work that pain out. So I'm excited to see what physical therapy is gonna be today. Hopefully that's gonna be a quick, well, not necessarily quick, but it will be a process and something that I can follow and see progress over the next few weeks. So